you, Greg, and good morning to and welcome all of you to our spring faculty convocation. We've got have had some pretty brisk and windy weather over the last few days, and that sort of matches the activity that we've had since we came back after the break. We've got a lot going on here at NMSU. Our provost, Wendy Wilkins, and Vice President of Research, Yumal Chaitanya, they've been busy abroad. They're securing research agreements with universities in Latin America and Chile right now. And we got the year off also to a really great start with the centennial celebrations. I was at them in Santa Fe along with a number of our regents, and of course we had several here in Las Cruces. I want to thank especially the NMSU Centennial Committee, and especially Dr. John Hunter and President Margie Huerta, who led the celebrations here in Las Cruces. That parade was a really wonderful tribute to the history of Las Cruces in the statehood of New Mexico. We also started the news, started the year, and I said news because it was so important to us, with some great news on the economic impact that the university is having all across the state of New Mexico. And a number of you were remarking on the articles that you read as I came in about that economic report. So I would hope that all of us can continue to think about NMSU in that very positive way as we continue the semester this year. We have a lot of great work to do, and we have a lot hanging in the balance with our legislative session. In fact, kind of concurrent with the fast start I just talked about here, I'm going to be leaving about another 15 minutes into the ceremony here so that we can go off to Santa Fe and start doing good work to make sure that our university gets the support that it needs from our state legislature this year. But before we begin the celebration of our faculty and staff accomplishments today, I'd like to give you just a brief update on a few of the things I just mentioned, as well as a few other new developments. You recall, of course, that we've changed the format of our convocation address. I'm only going to speak briefly about university events, and from this year forward, we're going to have our more formal address to the university as a State of the University address in the fall. Let's go back to that economic impact report. We were proud earlier this month to announce the results of the study that was done by economics professor Jim Beach. I think Jim's in the audience today. There he is. Give him a hand. Him and his colleagues worked on a report that is really quite stunning. He looked at the impact that's generated just by the out-of-state funding that comes to NMSU. In other words, not just what is generated by the state and supports us, what comes out of the state into the state. Our university generated for the state's economy in just 1 year 10,000 jobs, about a gross domestic product of about $902.4 million, total personal income of about $809.8 million, total disposable personal income of about $731 million, state tax revenue of $66 million, and 5 of our campuses spent a total in the state on state products of $648 million. Our non-resident students spent almost $90 million in this state, and our in-state purchases with money that came from out of the state into the state was more than $49 million. That added to our NMSU capital expenditures for all campuses, which totaled $39.5 million. We have added, in fiscal dollars, a lot of value to the state of New Mexico. And here's one of the most tremendous benefits that NMSU has had to our state: our alumni. Our alumni who choose to remain here. As of December 2010, there were nearly 50,000 New Mexico State University living in this state. Aggie alumni generated 4,400 full or part-time jobs, $659 million in personal income, $598 million in disposable personal income, and $696 million in our gross domestic product. Through them, New Mexico also gained nearly 1,000 new residents. New Mexico State University, in addition to the great work that you as faculty do in educating our students every day of the year during our academic year and in the summer, is adding real dollar value to New Mexico. We're going to be taking this tremendous message about NMSU's impact to our legislators in Santa Fe. We're going to remind them of the fiscal importance of their investment in this state's great land-grant university. And as I promised to you last year and again in the fall, we're asking our legislature this year to support new funding for employee compensation and to eliminate the 1.75% employee retirement contribution that was enacted in the 2011 session, and instead fund your retirement contribution through the state. We're also going to ask the state to restore 5% of the budget for our statewide agricultural departments and educational television. These units have gotten hit the hardest during the budget cuts over the last couple of years. And you all recall that especially in this year, the sesquicentennial of the Morrill Act, that we are the state's land-grant institution. We expect our legislature to support that mission. And we're also asking our legislature to preserve the funding levels for our research and other public service projects that they have supported in the past. We're asking them to support our capital projects by endorsing our request for funding to renovate Hart and Jacobs Hall, to complete our Gadsden Center in Doña Ana, and our Public Policy Center here on this campus, and maintain campus infrastructure on all of our community college and our main campus. You can learn about all of these legislative priorities and study them more thoroughly if you wish by visiting the NMSU website, looking on that first page and just looking and clicking on legislative priorities. Also, since I last addressed our faculty and staff in the State of University address last fall, we have some new appointments to celebrate. Angela Throneberry, who has been serving as our interim senior vice president for administration and finance, has been selected to fill the position permanently. Angela began her career at NMSU in 1991 in the financial reporting office. And during her tenure with the university, she's held a series of positions with increasing responsibility, including Assistant Athletics Director for Business, Director of Financial Operations, Director of Auxiliary Business Services, Assistant Vice President for Auxiliary Services, and Associate Vice President for Administration and Finance. She's a certified public accountant and a graduate of the NMSU College of Business. If Angela's in the audience, is she here this morning? Please give her a hand. Thank you. We also welcome to our NMSU community Dr. John Grattan. He's been selected as the next president of the NMSU Carlsbad campus. Dr. Grattan began his new position yesterday, and prior to joining NMSU, he had been vice president for instruction at New Mexico Junior College in Humboldt since 2005. Before that, he was vice president of instructional services at Coastal Bend College in Eagle, Texas. Please also give Dr. John Grattan a hand. And finally, I'd like to say a few words about progress that is being made on our international partnerships. I mentioned that Provost Wilkins and Vimal Chaitanya are now abroad. Last spring, our Vice President for Research and our Director of the Confucius Institute and several faculty from our College of Education and I visited China, as you know, and with several of these continuing on to Mongolia. We have now continued to foster relationships in those areas with several institutions. In addition, this fall, we have renewed MOUs not only with the Mongolian University, but also with the Autonomous University of Chihuahua. Dr. Chaitanya also led our efforts this fall to build international partnerships with a trip to India. And together with Provost Wilkins, this January we signed agreements with the universities of Chile and the universities of Cartier. We have an MOU with Couture that actually represents a deepening of our commitment to cooperative initiatives there and collaborative programs of research and education. We've had a long history with Couture. Some of you might remember that Maria Gonzalez had established relationships there, as well as President Gerald Thomas. We hope for NMSU to be Couture's premier partner in the United States. Our missions are very closely aligned, especially in agricultural extension and research, as well as work on sustainability, energy, and the environment. And we also now share an important faculty connection. NMSU faculty member Tom Dormady is now serving as Couture's Dean of the Graduate School. These are only a few of the highlights of work that NMSU is moving forward as we begin the new semester. And of course, I'm going to keep you updated as much as I can throughout the semester about what's going on in the legislative session and keep you very well connected to that. We have a lot to be proud of here at New Mexico State University, and I know that you are the main reason that we can be proud of the accomplishments here. When I speak to the legislators up north, I speak with confidence about our faculty accomplishments in research, teaching, and service, and about our staff that make this university, in addition to our faculty family, a very, very welcoming place for students all across the state of New Mexico and beyond. Today, we give a special hand to our faculty who have accomplished so much here across our system. We are honoring the research, advising, and teaching achievements of these wonderful colleagues and of some of our staff. I'm delighted now to turn over the program to our Deputy Provost, Greg Fenn, who is standing in for Provost Wendy Wilkins, who will be back soon, and is continuing work this week on the international partnerships. So welcome back, everybody. Go Aggies. Thank you.